Hello, welcome once again to Ilead. My name is Juwon Olabi, and my assignment remains the same, is to help you to discover, to develop, and deploy your leadership powers for optimum results and success in life. So today we're talking about the benefits of crisis, the benefit of crisis. As we all know that in life, we all go through crises. I mean, there's nobody in this life who had not gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 crises. At times they come one by one. At times they come like 6 at a time. At times you're going through tough time in your homes, and before you know it, they stop you at work. Before you know it, your friend disappointed you. Before you know it, you're sick. So at times, all these crises just come at once, and at times they come one by one. But one thing I'm sure is that there's nobody born of a woman that will not go through 1 or 2 crises in their lifetime. So it is very, very important that we accept the fact that crises are part of life and that they have their own benefits in life. One thing I want you to understand today is that really there's no disadvantage in life. If you know how to operate and how to go in your ways, you can always turn seemingly disadvantaged situation to your advantage. And the same thing we want to do in crisis, because we want to find out, are there benefits in crisis? The same crisis that has destroyed some is the same crisis that had made some. The same crisis that have made some businesses to go bankrupt is the same crisis that have made others to make billions. The same crisis that have made some marriages to crash is the same crisis that have made some marriage to be stronger. So you need to know the strategy of how to survive in crisis. But first of all, you need to know that there are benefits of crisis. There are blessings that come with crisis. And when you know that, you'll be able to know how to go about getting those blessings instead of the other ones. So let's go into it. I'll be sharing a few points with you about the benefit of crisis. The first thing I want to share with you is that crisis aids growth. Crisis aids growth. When I look at the example of an eagle and how an eagle, teaches eaglets how to fly, you discover that that's crisis. Okay, so we know that eagles live in mountainous, environment. Their nest is always on the mountain or very tall tree or high hills. And what they do is that after they hatch their eggs and they have their baby eaglets, the way they train them is that they will fly up to the highest mountain in that area, to the highest place, and they will drop the baby eagle, which we call the eaglet. They will drop that eaglet. And you know what? The eaglet is in crisis. It will be struggling and struggling and struggling. It will, and when the eaglet is about to hit the floor, the ground, the mother eagle will carry it again and take it up to the highest mountain and drop it again. The eaglet will struggle the same way. The same thing over and over until the eaglet learn how to spread its wing and fly. That's just a powerful way to train your children. So you see, what that does is that it helps the eagle to master storms. And that's why the eagle is the only bird that rises above the storms. Every other birds is either they are carried away in the storm or they stop flying in the storm. But eagles, they learn how to find their balance in the storm until they ride above the storm. So you see in life that there will always be storm. All you need to do is to learn how to soar above the storms and maintain your balance above it. Number 2 of the benefit of crisis is that crisis gives you new perspective. Crisis gives you new perspective. Now, one of the things that crisis does to us is to help us to navigate other perspectives of life that we never thought of. You know, some people, they never thought of starting their own business until they were sacked in their job. Some people never thought of partnering with someone until something bad happened to them. Some people never thought of starting another business until the one they had, crumbled. So, you see, crisis will always help you to find other alternatives. It will always help you to look at other perspectives of life. Some of us, we've seen life as just one narrow way. But then a crisis hits us. And we begin to find alternatives. And before you know it, you begin to discover new frontiers. You begin to discover new perspectives. You begin to discover things that you don't know exist in life. For instance, I think Nigeria, as a country, in 2016, when we enter another recession in 2016, we were people who actually, we rely on oil all the way. And when the price of oil fell from $110 per barrel to $50 per barrel, what happened? We started thinking about, okay, how do we diversify from a oil producing country to another things, because we have other things before. So we start talking about agriculture, start talking about rice, we start talking about starting other things. That crisis was what helped us to see other possibilities. Now, for instance, too, in America and Britain, when the issue of slave trade, started happening, and the people started clamoring that put an end to slave trade, slave trade, that was what ushered in the industrial era. Because people now started thinking that, okay, if we leave these guys to go back to their towns and not become slaves again, we still need to produce. So that forced inventors and scientists to start thinking of, okay, inventing machines that could do what humans were doing before. So you see, that crisis was what produced other perspectives of life that now helped us to become a better person today, to succeed today. So crisis will always give you new perspective of life. Number 3 is the fact that crisis has a way of revealing your strength and your weakness. In fact, let me say that nothing reveals your strengths and weaknesses than adversity. Have you ever, maybe there was a time, maybe that's happened to me once or twice when I was, a little child, that maybe we went into an environment where you don't know there was a dog there. And when this dog start pursuing you, you start running, you don't know you could run that fast. You start running, and maybe you encountered a fence, you don't know how you jumped that fence, you just found yourself at the other side of the fence, and you look back and you thought, how did I jump that fence? You didn't know you could jump. It was that crisis that pushed out that ability in you. So crisis will always reveal what you can do and what you cannot do. It is in crisis you will know that, oh, you are weak in this area, you are strong in this area, because crisis will always force the best out of you. If there are things you can do and you never know about it, it's in crisis that you just discover that, oh, so I can do this. Oh, so I can do that. Oh, so I can accomplish this. I mean, for instance, when last year, when we had this coronavirus, coming up, and there was crisis, everybody was at home, I always wanted to be edit videos, and I couldn't. And my wife used to do it. She still does it. But anytime I try, I'll just this process is too complicated, and I'll just leave it. And during the lockdown, I discovered that it's something I have to learn. So it's not a should do for me again, it's a must do. So I started learning it, and I was amazed that it's so simple. It's something that is very, very simple to learn. And I was able to learn it. I was able to, edit videos. And some of my videos, I did them myself. So what helps me to bring that ability in me was the crisis. During the crisis, I helped some people to write their books. Some of them never know that they can author a book. Some of them they think that, oh, it's so complicated. But because of the crisis, they had to do it. So crisis has a way of revealing what your true strength is and what your weaknesses Number 4 is that crisis gives us the opportunity for creativity and innovation. Crisis gives us the opportunity for creativity and innovation. On December 9th of 1914, Thomas Edison, one of the greatest inventors that ever walked the face of the earth, his office, his laboratory got burnt. I mean, like 90% of his laboratory, his life work, some of the things he has been working on, 90% of it got burnt, and 70% of it were not even insured. And you know what? When they called him that his lab was burning, and he just sat in the front and he was watching the thing burning. And when the son asked him, "How are we going to start?" He said, "We'll start tomorrow." He said, "You know what? This fire just burnt all the rubbish that we need to do away with. So by tomorrow we're starting again." And true to his word, by the next day, Thomas Edison started rebuilding the place all over again with all his staff. He never sacked any of his staff. And do you know what? In 3 weeks after that, Thomas Edison was able to come out with 3 different world invention in 3 weeks. Some of the things he has been working on for years. After that incident, he received illumination, he received inspiration on how to do it. He was able to use adversity or crisis as a platform for creativity and innovation. I know for some of us, if that happens to us, we just say, "Oh, my life is over. Where am I going to start from?" But Albert Einstein didn't do that. He was very positive. He saw the positive side of that crisis. He didn't see his life work being burnt down. He saw the rubbish of what he was doing being burnt down, and the remaining of what was left, he was able to use it positively and creatively and innovatively. So you see, crisis will always give us innovative way of doing things. I mean, there are so many innovations today, so many scientific inventions today, and do you know what? Most of those innovations were propelled by crisis. Most of those innovations and inventions were as a result of a problem that someone needs to fix. The last point we'll be discussing about the benefit of crisis is that crisis creates new possibilities. Crisis creates new possibilities. Every time the world has experienced a sprout or a speed in development, I mean the world in general, it was always after a crisis. It was always after a crisis. You see, the industrial age was ushered in by the World War II. And the collapse of Wall Street in the early 90s and 2000s was also ushered in the information age. So at the end of every maybe war or economic depression or one crisis or the other, there is always a major shift in development and breakthroughs. So people become more innovative, they think more, because crisis always help us to be better and to do better. So if you know the benefit of crisis, next time you are in any, you will know that crisis is for your advantage, not for your disadvantage. It's for your best, it's not for your worst. I want to believe that you've been blessed by today's episode about benefits of crisis. If you have been blessed, if you have been inspired, please don't forget to share this video. Don't forget to like it or make a comment. If you have a question, you can leave it on the screen. I will leave it, in my email, and I'm going to attend to it. Also, don't forget to follow me on all my social media platforms, and I will do well to also follow you back. Until next time, until next episode, make sure you keep leading, keep excelling, and keep succeeding. Thank you so much. God bless you.